cross party lines to work together toward the same goal. And white
Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day, while the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor. He was telling you to build your own house.
I apologize for being black, for all I am plus all I lack. Please, sir, please, ma'am, give me some slack, cause I apologize. I apologize for being poor, for being sick and tired and so. Since I ain't slick, don't know the scope, I do apologize. I apologize because I bear resemblance most black people share. Thick lips, flat nose, and nappy hair. Yes, I apologize. I apologize for how I look, for all the lows and blows I took. On those, Lord knows I'd close the book as I apologize. I apologize for all I gave, for letting you make me your slave and go into my early grave. Yes, I apologize. I apologize for being caught, for being sold, for being bought, while being told I count for naught. Yeah, I apologize. I apologize for all I've done, for all my toil out in the sun. Don't want to spoil your righteous fun, so I apologize. I apologize and curse my kind for being fooled, for being blind, for being ruled and in your bind. Yes, I apologize. I apologize and curse my fate for being slow, for being late, because I know it's me you hate. Why not apologize? I apologize and tip my hat, cause you so rich and free and fat, son of a bitch, that's where it's at, and I apologize.
Yo, 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 yo. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Should have did this up front, right? This what happens when you try to get something done. And look at that. We paused, and I think we're back. Okay. Hooty-hoo! Hooty-hoo! We back at it. It is Thursday night. Few technical difficulties, but we gonna make it do what it do, how it do. Short show tonight because I know everybody is trying to get to this 8 o'clock time for the game tonight. Prediction before the show, so I can be like Nicodamus. And I picked that the Warriors will win this game tonight. This last time they at the Oracle. Why not? I think they can do it. Let's keep hope alive for them. And let's hope that our show goes off without a hitch tonight. Yeah, instead of skipping the show, I thought we'd go ahead and do the show. Tonight's show is called Male or Man, What Are We Teaching Our Sons? And it kind of came about, been seeing shows and everybody's been talking about black masculinity. And I was like, nobody ever came up with a definition of what it means to have black masculinity, because all we've been taught in this country is white male masculinity, allowing them to define us. There's a saying, and it says the black woman as well as the black man is axiomatic, that if we do not define ourselves for ourselves, we will be defined by others for their use and our detriment. This is one of the problems I see. And again, this is just my opinion. A black man in America, the way I see it, the way I interpret it. And there's a certain age in most groups, like the Jewish religion, I think it's like 13 or 14, and they have the ceremony for the young man announcing his introduction into manhood. This also happens in African cultures and pretty much every culture except the American black man culture. I can clearly remember at the age of 16, my grandmother saying, "You are now a man, and we're going to expect a different type of behavior from you." And I accepted that, and I started to act accordingly. Of course, you're not automatically going to become a man all at once, but this is the definition of what I saw and what I interpreted and what I grasped and what I live by. You know, there's a man and a male. Now, by default, when you're born, if you're born a male, you are automatically a male. You really had to do nothing to keep that status. But the definition of a man is determined by your life. Have you gotten to the place where you have the ability to take care of yourself, first of all? Secondly, can you take care of your family? And thirdly, can you help to secure your community? This kind of lets us know that our communities are full of males because we don't take care of the communities. We're not running the communities. A lot of households, the women are taking care of the family, financially and otherwise. I don't know if it's if we have not defined ourselves or have an understanding, and if our fathers had not done so in advance, that's the line where we get fatherhood from and brotherhood. And it is passed down to you not from a woman, but from a man. I think a lot of times we're dealing with egos and pride, and there's two different things with the egos and pride. I always say the ego will get you into trouble, but your pride will keep you in trouble. That's bad business there. I apologize for any video issues. I'm getting a bad video setting, which I've constantly been getting. I think YouTube wants to force you to go over to their new thing, and I'll have to take some time and work that out for everyone. So I apologize. So your ego may make you present yourself in a bigger format. It's your ego is the way that you see yourself. I'm this, or I'm this, or I'm this. Your pride may be more of a look what I've accomplished here, or what I've accomplished here. Now, it's okay to be prideful that you have the ability to take care of your family or stuff like that, but not to flaunt it to downbeat other people, to suggest that since they have not reached your status in life that there is something wrong with them. That's not what pride should be. The question every black man's got to ask is, where do I get my power from, or perceived power? And we don't want to talk about the ladies too much tonight, because that's a different topic. And according to the white social status of America, our women, for the most part, fall in line and get that education and get that job, and they don't spend a whole lot of time on racism and things like that. They've basically assimilated, for the most part, into the dominant society culture. But us as men, in our quest to define ourselves separate from the structure that has destroyed us, that continues to destroy us, how do you survive in that? And how do you tell a young man, give him a guidebook that he doesn't have to do and go through everything that you had to go through, and so on and so on and so on? That's the way it should have worked in nature. So we've been here, 1619 to 2019, 400 years. And how much progress have we made beyond the cotton field? Just because things happen to you, it doesn't give you the ultimate excuse of, well, the white man did this, the white man did this. Okay, and then what did you do? Well, he created a system that's never going to let me. Okay, we understand that too. But what are you doing, brother? It's there's a thing that I try to live by, that if your home life is not in order, then you shouldn't be doing anything else until you get that home life in order. That structure. A lot of times it is called upon the men to burden a lot of stress and things in America, because it is the man and the things that he goes through, and a lot of the women now, so I won't leave y'all out, that we go through things and shoulder a lot of responsibility so the family can continue to function. So that the wife and the children can have a life of as much pleasantries as they can have, while the father toils and tries to make it through this society. There were many blacks that refused to integrate into society like this, and they made their own jobs and they made their own ways, and they may not have had the fancy jobs and things like that, but I consider that a manly move to, at that time, defy the system, step outside the system like the Muslims speak of all the time, and start your own business and do your own thing and free yourself from the system. That's what I'm trying to do. RPC Computing. Your PC is our PC. 1741 East 71st Street, Chicago, Illinois. 773-966-4457. Shameless plug? Well, it's my show. So that's the same thing I'm trying to do. And a lot of times I try to be a mentor to a lot of the young people. And this is, a lot of them are still trying to find their manhood. They may feel like a man, but You got to answer those questions. Now, if you're single and you're a black male single, I think you should be able to get your levels up. No excuses for you. If a lot of times kids and things like that will tie you down and bind you financially, because that's some of the ways that they, emasculate you. They emasculate you through finances. First, you ain't got enough money to take care of your family. Education. The key to success in America is education. If you ain't got no education, you probably not gonna get a decent job, and it's gonna make it hard for you to take care of your family. Therefore, making you a male. You can try to buck the system, but that's not a manly move either. In terms of, if you have responsibilities, we all want to be militants. I was talking to Mr. Muslim today, and we were talking about how America is set up that no matter which way you go, they have worked it out where they will define who you are, or they want to define who you are. And the steps it takes to break out of the system to become your own man. I was talking to a young man. I told him about the show. I don't know if he's going to watch the show or not, but I'm not saying his name. But we're talking about possibly doing some business together or some virtues and things like that. And he brought up that he didn't have an employee's mindset, and he didn't want to be an employee, but he wanted to be a boss. And I said, well, the only way to be a boss is not to dock your boat with anybody else's boat. You have to have a standalone situation. Brother's very highly educated, been to the Army, everything, good head on his shoulder. He's a young man in his early 30s. But we talked about a lot of situations that he was trying to go through in corporate America, and trying to find a way there, and having a belief of what goes on there. And I told him about, they don't care about any of that. When you get there, they will hand you a pair of tap shoes, and this is what's going to determine your height. Yeah, you're required to know a little bit, but the thing is, you need to be 3 times as better for us to give you half of what we get over here, or what you deserve. And most of us spend years. I spent 25 years in corporate America, digesting the stuff that they were putting down. There were times when I had a family and things to take care of, so I just swallowed it and took it. But all along that time, planning. Men plan. Boys don't plan. Males don't plan. Men plan. If you haven't been planning, it's time for you to get a pencil, a pen, a pad. Sit down by yourself. Every Sunday, I write 5 things that I need to get done during the week, and one of those has to be for somebody else. You may have 5 things you need to get yourself together. A man will self-analyze himself and realize where he is weak at. His fragile ego, and his woman saying something to him may not even affect him. And I know sometimes we will brush our women off and say you tripping. But sometimes we have to listen. We have to see, where is she coming from, and how can we line up. And a lot of times it's hard to line up because, like I say, they have been assimilated into the system on a whole different level than where we have. We just don't want to be conquered. This is one of the things, black men, we don't want to feel conquered. We don't want to feel indebted to these people, but we are indebted to these people. And a lot of us have just given up and said, forget the revolution, forget my manhood. I've redefined my manhood as my ability just to take care of my family. Forget community. I will join my church or my mosque, and this will be the only way that I interact with the community, and I would feel good about myself, and this should suffice. But we have to look at the murder count. If we're looking at 600 murders a year, then something's not working, and you don't get to run away, because if we have all these sons out here being raised by mothers in the absence of fathers, then there's a problem. They had the episode on Good Times, the one that we all hated, when they decided to kill James off the show. You have to remember, in real life, at that time when they killed James off the show, it's around the same time that they started removing or demanding that all the fathers and males had to leave the house if the woman wanted to receive aid. So it was a reflection of life that we were actually witnessing on TV and in reality. We all saw James as this strong father figure, raising his kids the best he could with the little education he had. And Florida went along with it and appreciated it. Those relationships probably don't exist anymore, because women, the money didn't change men, it changed women. I say that all the time, and I may come across a little chauvinist here, but that's just the way I feel. And I don't feel, if my woman makes more than me, say, hey, what's that got to do with our roles in the family structure? You don't have to do this because you make more money than me. Stop it. Stop it. I always say, hey, if you want to have a great relationship with me, treat me the way you treat that white man down there. See, the white man, he doesn't have to ask for respect. This is his system. So you respect him, and then you come home and you disrespect us. But then that's our egos tripping on her when we're all supposed to be on the same team. So the foundation of the family is, as far as a man, if you're calling yourself a man, you're building your manhood up, is people should see the way you carry yourself and recognize you as a man right off. They, the way you carry yourself and the way you act in life and the way you take care of your business will reflect to a lot of other people, and they'll respect you in this way. I have people come in my shop all the time, and I had a young lady come in one time, and she was just snapping off on the phone and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I just gave her that look. And then when she got off the phone, she apologized. And I said, don't ever let anyone knock you off your square like that. Even if you're extra mad, and it takes a whole lot for me to get up to those levels. But it took time for me to grow as a man to understand that emotional part that might have been displayed was not a masculine quality that I should embrace. The pastor made a joke the other day. Someone was telling him he need to get in contact with his female side. And he said, we're men. We don't have a female side. And I totally agree with that. We may have an emotional side, but I don't have a female side, whatever that is. That's the balance of nature in the household. When you have a mother and father and kids, the father usually is a disciplinarian. The mother may be a little softer. She's more of an emotional creature. She will provide the children with the nurturing side that they need to compensate for the father, who will be looked upon as the caregiver, the king, the lion, however you want to do that. So, but we got everybody out here calling themselves, I'm a king and I'm this and I'm this. Well, you can't be a king without a job, without a function. Sorry. All the kings are heads. All the kings are bosses. all the kings have a functionality. You got to get up to be the king. Even though you see the king in the lion, he'll lay down in the field and he'll let that woman go to work and kill that antelope and bring that antelope home. And he's the first one to jump up and feed. But the reason that works is because he is the protector of the pride. And they know that. They know if anything comes and tries to destroy a female or a cub or something in that pride, he gets up and he does his work. So he's working. If you're not working, and this isn't a knock on anyone, even if you've been to prison or anything like that, you may have to recreate your own self. There's a reason you were in prison most of the time. I know we've all seen the Central Park 5, and the crazy part about that is even after all these years, some of these young men have still not reclaimed their livelihood. They're all 39, 40, stuff like that. I think I was 20, was I 24 or something at the time it happened? So I'm like 10 years older than them. You saw the one young man, and he's still destroyed. He says he's destroyed, and I hope he gets some help. He was the one whose father made him say that he did it. And he lost respect for his father. He lost love for his father. And he's lost. His father died, and he never reconciled that. And all that happened because of the system. His father had been in the system, and that's the part he's not grasping. Or his father never told him that since he had been in prison, since he was lucky enough to reclaim some form of life and get a job, but he hadn't reported his criminal background, they were able to use this to cause him to help his son to be destroyed. You can tell he's just tore up on the inside. That hurt is still from him being a little boy. He hasn't got past that phase. He's still a little boy in a grown man's body, trying to find that image of manhood. That's what we do as males. We're searching for that finished image of ourselves that allows us to claim our manhood, to step forward in our manhood, to accept our conditions, and to change our conditions. A young man told me, he said, well, I want to be a boss. I got a boss mentality, but I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do this. No. You got to do all that to be the boss. I told him, don't hook your boat to somebody else's boat, because if something happens to their boat, then your boat's going to sink. It's just like when you live in your mother's house or you live in somebody else's house. Don't be screaming, you're a grown man, mama. No, you live in your mama's house. That kind of cuts all that loose. When you work for somebody else, you're not a boss. Damon Dash used to always say that he's a boss. He doesn't work for anybody else. He works for himself. He works for his family. That's his definition of manhood. That's our definition of manhood. And we got to get more in contact with that and put more into what we teach the young men. I was a mentor for 4 years to a young man from the ages of 13 to 18. And a lot of these young men were upset because their fathers weren't around, because there's something in their father's DNA that they needed, and they realized they needed it to become a man. But for whatever reason, the system or whatever, that was broken down, and then the system becomes their fathers. The education system will corrupt your son if you're not having a constant conversation with him about life and the system and how it has destroyed us since we've been here. But at the same time it destroys us, it tells us this is the only path that you have to save yourself. We're not going to talk too long tonight. We're not open the phone lines or anything. It is 7:58. That means it's 2 minutes to game time. We appreciate everybody checking in tonight. But we may do a part 2 to this because it was very interesting, all the different things I was seeing with groups of men discussing things, and no one had that answer, that direct answer of what is it to be a black man in America. And if we're all still trying to figure that out, then what does it take to be a black family in America, to raise black kids in America? These are questions we got to ask ourselves, and these are things that we have to define for ourselves. Every man has to define who he is, and then those people around him, what they thought was the definition of him, they will see in him, and they will present it, and they will respect him, and they will love him, and that's the role of you as a father in this world, to take care of the business so your family can function. But it starts off with being a young man, taking care of yourself, then taking care of your family, and then being a part of your community to take care of the community. So the environment that your kids grow up in is a healthy environment. We spend a whole lot of time talking about the white men and stuff like that, but now we're talking about ourselves. So on that note, about to go watch Golden State put this work in. Love, peace, soul, and what we say, we out of here.
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invest in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide. You a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your seat. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you wanna be saved. Are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga.
Bullshit, and you full of shit. Full of straight shit.
jail.
I'm getting, for what?